friends. We are Sarájanée and Annacrizelda, and this is Everything and No Less, the podcast where your favorite long-distance best friends talk about everything from women's sports to Marvel movies to things we love, hate, and everything in between. On this week's episode, we're talking about the Severance finale, how we feel about Joe from You coming back for his final season. Then we'll go into friendship green or red flags and why Eric was mad at me this week. We ended all with some weekend sports, talking about basketball, specifically women's basketball. Thanks for listening.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, so Sarájanée, I wanted to start off with a listener note.
Okay.
Our longtime fan, Eric, said that he loves listening to the podcast because he loves learning more about you. He says that's an element he really enjoys.
That's so sweet.
Isn't
Our
it?
Aquarius King. I love that.
Isn't that beautiful?
That's so sweet.
I just feel like it's a little messed up that he is not enjoying learning more about his beautiful wife on this podcast.
I mean, I imagine it's because he has so many opportunities to learn about you.
I'm just
on
saying,
a daily basis.
To single you out when there are two people on this podcast it feels very targeted, but maybe I'm just a little toxica, you know.
I think you need to let Eric and I have this moment.
Okay. That's fine. Okay. I'll allow it.
Oh my goodness. Shout out to Eric. We love you here.
Eric. We love you here.
We really do. Let's get into it. Severance, the finale. Yes, I want to talk about our shows, what we've been watching. Can we start with Severance?
I'm traumatized. I'm
Stressed
traumatized.
Stressed out.
I'm traumatized.
Thank you for giving me the heads up that it was stressful. I needed that like warning. Have some comforting items nearby. I have thoughts. I have opinions.
What are your thoughts?
It's a good show. I think can we start with the ending? Spoiler ahead.
Yeah, spoiler.
No, Helly did not have the nerve to look back at Gemma like, yeah, your man chose me. I hollered. How dare you? How dare you?
Dare you?
Whatever parts were like, yes, Helly is different from Helena. She's a little bit like, you know, there's still hope for her. Absolutely not. She's the op. She is her outie.
She is.
That was such a diabolical look back.
Diabolical.
Like, are you kidding? While she's sitting there, like, we know what she's been through. Chopped up, severed so many times, finally free.
25 times.
What?
They made 25 innies out of her and tortured them.
Right. And all you can do is take that man's hand and run and look back, not even like with any sort of grief, remorse, sorry, nothing. Just
also,
like,
where are you going?
Where are you going?
Where are you going?
Why did they show us them running around the hallway so much? What was the point of that?
Yeah, here's the thing. I think you're exactly right. She definitely has a little bit of Helena in her, despite the fact that she acts so innocent. I mean, I do see a world in which someone could interpret that last moment of Mark S. fleeing with Helly as like he is declaring his personhood as distinct from outie Mark, which is fine.
I guess. Why is the woman of color the one left like with the sadness? I don't like it.
You know,
I can't stand by it.
Eric said, as we were watching the finale, the POC in this show are down bad.
Down bad.
Down bad. Is Severance an anti-POC text?
Maybe.
Because why did you do that? I know Milchick is evil, but why?
Hit him in the head like with the
trombone?
Okay. Is Dylan okay? Like, did the vending machine fall on Dylan? Any Dylan?
Yeah. I mean, it's not good for the POC. It seems
not
like
good.
The only people that are winning out of this are Helly and Mark, and then Helly's scary daddy. Okay,
right. Whatever he's on, he's a weirdo.
That
Real
was
creepy.
That was so scary.
Him just watching?
So him just watching. And also that statue of the first, listen, I was like, if that thing moves, I am turning this off. That is so scary.
It really was. And was that like Milchek's protest when he was like talking back to the statue or whoever was voicing it? Like,
That was so weird.
it was very
That
strange.
was so weird.
Where have
But-
they been keeping this HBCU band the whole time?
Okay,
Where
you
have
have
they been?
imprisoned an HBCU marching band. You imprisoned them. You severed them, and then you imprisoned them, and you brought them out for this.
They just stay on some floor? Like, are they just constantly practicing their instrument?
It's not good.
It's not okay. It's
Severance
not good
is
at all.
an anti-POC text, I think.
All right. It's
is
feeling
what
that
we're-
way.
It's not good. It's not good.
I did
will-
also. Oh, go ahead. No, go for it.
I will say, no one in this show does more than the actor who plays Mr. Milchick.
Nobody. They ask so much for him. The range.
The range, the dancing, the speaking.
Okay, went full drum major. I was like, you better. If you have a Broadway background, like, let's go. It was a little turned up for a minute.
No, the moment that I thought was so unintentionally, maybe it was intentionally hilarious, is like when he like is with Dylan and he's giving the innie the like outie, the outie, like saying no, you can't resign, and then he's like, I'm very busy, and he just like breaks into a full run.
Gone. Why did he run away like that? Like, not a jog, not even a fast jog, full sprint. I would
Full.
love to see the takes of that. Like, did he just get it in one? How many
Right.
takes? Also, because I would have ran into like the wall. I like turning on a dime like that. I have beef with one of the walls in our apartment right now just because it jumps up all the time. At least once a day I walk into it. It's very mysterious. But yeah, I want to see the like cuts, the outtakes.
He's an athlete.
Gotta be.
An
Gotta be.
athlete. It's so good.
Agreed. Agreed.
It's so good.
I was gonna say I noticed the moment when Mark went full little brother when they were in the cabin, and he's just like, Devin, help, fix it. I created this mess.
The peak little brother moment. Listen, the tone, the volume,
All of it.
when all she has done is try to fix your life,
Right. Told you not to do it, and you did it anyway.
told you not to do it, and you did it anyway, and you raise your voice at her like that?
Right. Scream for her to come back. He's a child. He's being unreasonable. No, what is unreasonable is what you did. Let's let us hear. You have
Literally.
to start there every time. What did
Every
you think
time.
of the dialogue back in like between Annie and Outie Mark?
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting, right? Because obviously like a theme of this show is like being at war with yourself, and I think that part of the brilliance of this show is how they kind of like make that conflict visible in different ways, like, and in this way, like very obviously. I thought it was really good. I mean, I'm Team Gemma. I think Annie Mark is being unreasonable.
Agreed. Get her out of
Very,
here.
and he told you that's Helena Egan. Like, what do you think is going to happen?
Right. Right. I agree. I thought it was very well done, well shot. Maybe a little bit long, but that's also because
Oh,
I was
yeah.
just on edge with like what's coming next. But definitely well done. The like way that they escalated the exchange, like you knew it was going to turn at a certain point.
Oh,
but I
yeah.
thought that like even just the use of facial expressions and the way they were handling the camera to kind of signal how it was escalating was really, really funny. And then also just, I'm talking about personhood, like watching Annie Mark be like, hold up, wait, what? You need me. Let me remember. Let us not forget, right? I appreciated that for sure. I can't remember what else I was going to say about it, but yeah, very well done, very enjoyable. And also, I feel like, what is her name? Mrs. Slovig? You know what I'm talking about. What's
Oh,
her-
Miss
Cor-
Cobell.
Cobell,
Yeah.
She like maybe could have came in a little earlier. Like I feel like they could have helped the conversation. Like here's some things to remember when they were talking about it. They could have perhaps like helped frame it a little bit better for both of them. But overall, it was good.
Yeah, I agree. I also think it's really weird how they've given us so little answers as to why she's so weird.
Right.
Like, at the end when she's like, I care for you, like, please Stop. What is
Well,
that?
whatever, right, whatever care means to you, I'm not sure anybody wants it. Yeah, I'm like, I guess we're still waiting. We know some of this is maybe because she was like, grew up, came up in it, right? And so even as she's sorting out her relationship to Kier and maybe trying to make a different choice, it's like she's still just got that weirdness in her. I don't know. It's very strange,
She's such a scary person.
very off-putting. I
Very
do not want to be in a
frightening.
car with her, right?
Yeah, and I think they didn't really explain. So I saw a theory out there that Devin had been talking to Miss Cobell or Selvig because the last interaction they had that we saw was she thought that she stole the baby. She stole Devin's baby. And so for to call Miss Cobell when Mark was in trouble from reintegration, like that felt kind of like a leap,
That's a
right? Like,
good
why
point.
would you
Right, right.
call the person who you
And have all
thought
this
kidnapped your
trust.
baby? Exactly.
Right.
So I think there may be some pieces missing there because why would you trust her? But I mean, I think it's still an open question as to whether or not she can be trusted because what does she want at this
Right.
point?
What does she want? What is she aiming for? And like, if she's just coming out of cure or whatever herself, or from under the trance of it, she's going to have a whole relearning process too, right? So,
Right.
can she even trust herself? Perhaps is
Right.
part of it.
What did you think of how gory that episode was?
Okay, in the elevator
The
with
stroke.
the bolt gun, like, and I mean, I guess it's Audi Mark, like just automatically pulling the trigger. Maybe I guess that's reasonable. He didn't realize it was in his hand, but like so gory, so much blood, and then it just leaves in the elevator. But even before that, when he was choking the life out of Marcus, like in the face changes, it's like
Yeah.
terrifying, so bloody, very very bloody.
So bloody, but shout out to Brienne of Tarth for being there.
In her bag, whenever she can go like ham on somebody, get some hits in,
Oh,
she's 101, full
love
strength.
it. Oh my God. That surprised me because Severance is not really a violent show, but the finale was crazy violent.
Very bloody, very like, here you are, this is it, these are the stakes, right? And so that also makes me wonder what they're setting up to have happen on the, like, with the innies on the severed floor. Because, of
Yeah.
course, we're supposed to think, like, okay, they will die, right? Like, they cannot exist as they are, even if there's reintegration. Life as they know it will fundamentally change. But I think I don't know, I hadn't imagined that as like a violent process, but I wonder if that's what they're kind of like, if not setting up, at least like trying to, like that might have been a reason for bringing some more violence in. Like this is still a very violent reality, or could be.
That's a really great point, actually.
Because so much happens, like so much of like the danger is like in the mind, right? And
Right.
like obviously people die too, but we don't necessarily haven't seen that. And so I wondered if that's what they were going for.
Yeah, no, that's a really great point. I do think it was interesting when he goes into the Cold Harbor room to get her, and like the innie like goes with him reluctantly. I'm like, listen, I don't know that I would trust a man that was so drenched in blood to bring me to safety.
Right, right. I guess are we supposed to take from that like maybe there's still some semblance of a connection, because they made it very clear that like that any Jim had no idea who she was, had no connection to the crib or whatever, right? But maybe that's supposed to be
Right.
some semblance of their love or connection that
Yeah.
has lasted despite all of these severings.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because if she has it, any Mark certainly doesn't
Does
have it
not. Right.
because he
Maybe
left her.
left her. Maybe feels a little something there, like, but like, you're my old work. It's new now. It's over for you. Andy Mark is like, sorry.
Do you think it's possible? So I was wondering this. Do you think it's possible that it was not any Helly in the last episode?
Yes.
That it was Helena.
I wondered that.
Okay.
I did wonder that. Couldn't give much to the theory other than like, why just let her back in and stay there on such an important day? I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. And that look back was just very like, haha, I got him. Like,
Right.
and her running back in I don't know. She knows that she's probably going to be protected, right? Like whatever happens to the other Ennies isn't necessarily her fate. But she wants to, like, her motivation is to stay in the Ennie world as long as possible if it's really Helly. But I don't know. I did have that wondering too. Like, what if this is actually Helena? Because why
Right.
would we not see her, right? When was the last time we saw her? The, like, boiled egg exchange with her
Right.
father? Was that this episode or the
That was last
previous
week.
one?
Yeah, that
Right?
was
So
yeah.
where's she been?
Where has she been? Right? And I also thought that, remember when they were sitting at the computer, she's like, I thought of a couple more places other than Delaware. And she says, like, the equator and Europe and Zimbabwe. And
Yeah.
so it's interesting because, like, if you were an Innie and you, like, thought for a long time, could you have access to some information from the outside world? It doesn't seem like the answer is yes, because we've
Right.
never seen that before.
Right. Great point. That's a very good catch.
You know, because I'm like, okay, well, no other Innie has been like, well, I thought really hard and I thought of my mother's name or whatever the questions are at the beginning. So, I don't know. Maybe it was Helena.
I could believe it, because also, why would they just give this, like, one episode, a camping episode or whatever, of her being on the inside without letting us know or wanting us to know that, like, she can go back and forth.
Right.
So,
And if she's in her Helena Egan mindset, then of course she wants Mark to finish Cold Harbor.
and for her, even if Gemma gets out, if Mark chooses to stay in, I don't think she's as, like, bothered by that, right? It's like,
Right.
one, maybe she's thinking the people, the outside team will deal with Gemma, but also she's like, all right, well, I like Mark, he stayed
Right.
with me, so either way, I still got him.
Right. So do you think next season that it'll be any Mark that is, like, the predominant person? Like, Audi Mark is actually the one who is, like, quote unquote died.
I wonder. That makes sense.
Right.
That makes sense. Dang. That's tough.
Isn't that tough?
That's really, really tough. For Audi Mark, at least. Like,
It is
dang.
tough.
And for Gemma. I just want justice for Gemma. She's been through too much, okay? She was down there tortured in prison.
They made her take apart the crib.
Right? Heartbreaking. Getting all that dental work, writing those notes.
Should have deal with the creepy doctor.
So creepy. Yeah.
So
We'll see.
creepy.
Do we think that Gemma will try to save Mark?
I think she will. I mean, I really hope that they arrange that Devin is, like, waiting outside in the getaway car, because
Okay.
otherwise, like, they're gonna get her and put her back downstairs.
Right.
But
Yeah, when it was clear that Mark was leaving, I was yelling for her to run. Don't watch him. All right, you want to go with her? Bye. Leave. You got to get yourself out of here. But
the
she
worst.
came back for love. I get it. Or she, like, it's hard to just walk away, run away from love. But yeah, I'll be very curious to see what the next step is. I mean, I guess that was always the risk, that any Mark wouldn't fully comply. But we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll have to wait for season 3, which I think has been announced, but they haven't started filming yet.
Take another 2 years, 3 years. I can't even complain, because I, like, watched the first season well after I think it first premiered. Like, I watched it summer of 2023 or summer of 2024, and so it was all out. So it hasn't been, like, it wasn't a long wait for me between seasons 1 and 2, but we'll see. Speaking of long seasons, you heard Euphoria is filming again.
Oh my God, yeah. They've got, like, paparazzi have, like, the long shots of Zendaya filming. So
I feel like it's not too late for them to just cancel it. Like, you don't
Yeah.
actually have to put it out. I don't think Euphoria needs to come back. What, are they seniors? Are they, like, graduated?
like, I do think that Zendaya can play a teenager still. Like, I think she
Totally.
looks extremely youthful. However, we all know that she is no longer a teenager. I
Right.
think it's asking us to suspend far too much disbelief.
There's a lot. There's already a lot of change, like, with the cast, right? Like, I don't know. The story already had a lot going on, and I'm like, sometimes it's okay to just walk away.
Right.
Like, let things end as they are, and that's enough.
I
you
think,
know?
yeah, they've been announcing, like, some kind of weird, like, casting choices for it,
Uh-huh.
too. So I don't know. I
Me
don't
either.
know. Have
We'll
you
see.
heard that You is coming back for its final season?
I did hear that, and what is his name? Bagley?
Penn,
Bagley?
I think, I think it's Badgley, but I've only ever said that in my
Badgley.
head.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, I think of him as Joe and then his character from Gossip Girl, and so I'm definitely guilty of not honoring his actual like actor, like, name as an actor rather than his character names. Saw the internet going up with
Up.
excitement at his fashion show.
Oh my God.
I
They
love him.
love him. It's such a funny show because you and I both love this show, right? Not for its, you know, prestige drama prowess, because it certainly is not a prestige drama. Like it's this thing that is so leaning into being bad that it's actually kind of good. Like it's ridiculous, and
It's
his
so ridiculous.
character is
Yeah.
ridiculous, and the people around him are ridiculous,
Right.
and the
Not taking itself
commentary.
too seriously.
Exactly. I mean, it's so funny because the first season was like a Lifetime drama, which on the like scale of like 1 to prestige drama is, I think, as close to a 1 as you can be. And then Netflix picks it up and they're just like, well, this is the genre of the show, I guess. Like, we'll just have him keep
Go all
killing
in.
people.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And the things that he could get away with, or actions and just places he could just go and be, like that was an interesting kind of subtle comment. Maybe it wasn't that subtle actually. Commentary on like white malehood, right? Like, yeah, I can just stand outside this window and nobody's gonna say anything to me, whether it's because they don't want to approach me or they're just like, presuming all is well. So that was interesting too. I'm just like, what is left at this point?
What is left? What
He's
is
gonna be in a
left?
new city. Like, is there gonna be a reckoning? Like,
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I expect this new season to be bad, but
yeah.
also, amazing in its badness. I
Is
love
there anything
you.
you want to see happen? Like, we've seen him be in prison for a little bit, right? So we've seen the role reversals. We've seen someone be obsessed with him. What do you want to see? Is there anything you want to see from this season?
I just want to see more of the same thing. I just want to see him obsessed with somebody and get away with crazy things.
Speaking of, that reminds me, like there was some, if not the last season, the second to most recent season, Aiden has like never watched, and he like came into my apartment at the time. It was like some really violent scene. I don't know if they were fighting. Joe was drugging. I don't. Who knows what Joe was up to, but it was very violent. And Aiden was like, "What is this? Oh my gosh!" And I was like, "Oh, this is nothing. This is just a morning coffee for Joe." And I was like, "Oh yeah, this show has desensitized me a little bit, but yeah, we're into the thick of it. I want to see what else he comes up with." His inner dialogue is also very entertaining, I
It
think.
is, because he's crazy. It's so funny, because it's like, oh, that's just Joe. Like,
And this is how toxic behavior becomes an excuse. Like, oh well, he's consistent, if nothing else.
we're like, oh, Joe. It's so funny. Like, that show really entertains me because, like, you can tell the second a new character is introduced that he's going to kill them. I'm like, that person will be dead in 20 minutes. Like, oh, Joe.
We'll circle
I'm
back. We'll see
excited.
what happens. Me too. Do you know when it's like supposed to come out? Have
So
they
I think in
announced?
like April sometime.
Oh, okay,
So they're
soon.
done filming. They're
Oh
ready.
snap! All right. Okay, Netflix. We'll see.
We'll see. So, Sarájanée, I saw this thing on social media that was being done by the great Kiki Palmer.
Love
And
her.
she was talking about friendship flags, green
Okay.
and red flags. So, I thought we could do a few of those.
That sounds good. Do you want to start? Do you have one?
I do. Okay.
Okay.
Red flag or green flag, they leave you long voice messages.
I think it really depends on the friendship and the person and like the stage of the
Okay.
friendship. Initially, like as they exist in my current friendships, I'll say green flag or whatever because it's usually something that like has come up, like, oh, this is too much to text. It'll be shorter to hear. And like, there's a storytelling element. And then also for myself, I don't know if they're long, but like if my wrists are hurting, right? Because again, sensitive girly, we've got ailments over here. Sometimes I just need to send a little voice memo rather than type things up. But it's like definitely a privilege that could be abused. But I'll say like, as I currently experience them, it's like green flags. But if you like just meet somebody and they're just busting out like,
Oh no.
you just exchange numbers and they're leaving you full voice notes,
No.
that would probably be a little concerning to me.
It is earned. You
It's
are
earned.
absolutely right. It is earned. It is earned. I love that. I say green flag. I have a friend one time who I said something really funny to her, and she just left me a voice message of her laughing because she
Love
didn't
that.
feel like the LMAO was expressive enough. And I appreciated that.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yes, thank you. So I think green flag, but you're right with the caveat, it can be abused.
I agree. Okay, if someone doesn't text you back for a few days, is that a red or a green flag for you?
For me, I think it's a green flag. I mean, like, I really don't expect people to text me back right away. Like, I know you're busy. You don't have to text me back. But I think if it's like habitual, like, you know, I have a friend who like she really could take anywhere from like 5 minutes to 2 weeks to text back. That sometimes I'm like, okay, that makes me think that, you know, maybe if I needed you to help me change my tire on the side of the road, you wouldn't be super responsive. But,
Right.
you know,
Yeah, I think I'm with you. Where I am now, it feels like a green flag in a relationship if there doesn't have to be pressure or urgency to respond, right? Like if I trust that, like, you know, I'll get back to you or that you'll get back to me, then that I think that's a good sign. I will say, I feel like if it's when there's not like some sort of balance, right? Like if there's a friend that like wants you to respond quickly when they have a question or a story or a need, but then they take their time, as you said, like sometimes 2 weeks or like not answering your questions, that would probably be a red flag for me, but that's probably more of a feel thing. And I feel like, again, would probably depend based on like how well you know each other and or just what you know you're going through in like in life and whatnot, right? But as long as there's balance and like some sort of reciprocity, it's all good. Take your time.
I think that's a good point. I think definitely reciprocity is something that has to exist for there to be the kind of grace that you need to like be okay with someone not texting you back for a few days. Okay, I have another one for you.
Tell me.
They don't share your interests.
What do you mean, like none?
Okay, like
Like all or like you have nothing in common?
none is crazy. Okay, hypothetical none, no interests.
That makes me think like work friend. Like how do you know each other? And does that mean all we talk about is work? That's a red flag for me.
Okay, that is true. I actually feel like none is a red flag.
Yeah.
I definitely met people in law school who like we had none of the same interests.
Yeah.
And it's just it's hard to talk to somebody who
Right.
like you can't even like not one thing in common.
That's it. Yeah, I think that's gonna be hard for me because yeah, like you said, what are we gonna talk about? I'm gonna feel awkward. I mean, I already am. I tell my partner on a regular basis, or he'll tell me I'm weird, and I'm like, I know. So I accept some level of weirdness, awkwardness, but like it would just trend towards maybe feeling forced, and I don't like want that in a friendship. Like we can be acquaintances, we can be hello, hi, cool, maybe have a little laugh here and there, but we gotta have some things to chat about. We gotta kiki. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay. But
So
I
you
think
said red flag too, or no?
I think red flag if it's no interest, but I think if you have interest with someone who's a friend who like you don't share, that's fine. That's a green flag, right? You should have your own life and your own
Totally.
interests. Like I have a very good friend who she's like very into DIY. And let me tell you something. I cannot DIY. I do not. I am not interested. Okay. The extent of my DIY is putting together furniture from IKEA. Okay.
Sure.
But to DIY, I cannot.
It's very fair.
And
But you like
so
support that
I
interest, right?
do.
Like
I
love
support
it. Yeah.
her. I think it's incredible.
Yeah,
Having said
I'm
that,
with I'm with that. It's like I don't think you need to have all like share all interests with your friends for sure, right? Like I have a couple of friends who have been trying to get me to play pickleball for years, and every time they'll know who they are when they hear this, I'm like everything isn't for everybody, right? And I love that for you. Go forth and conquer. I will cheer for you, but I'm not playing. I have no interest in doing that whatsoever. So I don't think. I think a green flag is being able to have like different interests, but like a red flag is probably no interest whatsoever. Like what? Why are we here? It's giving forced.
it's it's giving force. Okay.
Okay. One I have for you is like they over prioritize romantic relationships. Like if they're in a relationship or interested in someone, everything else kind of falls to the wayside. What do you think of that? Red or green flag?
I don't think it's a green flag. I will say, I will say, like, you know, I understand and I hear it, but I do think that, like, you know, it is hard because I've been that friend, you know, when I was younger. But I think now as we get older, it's like you have to have both. You have to have your romantic partner and you have to have like these other friendships that can sustain you and do sustain you. So I would say, but I do think that there are certain times where it's okay to prioritize your romantic relationship over others. So I would say yellow flag, depending
Okay.
on how the
Yeah.
person is handling it.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say I think it's like situational, right? Like again, if it's like a moment or there's something going on, not going on, but like you said, there's a reason for prioritizing your romantic relationship. But if it's like a pattern, right? Like every time a person gets in a relationship, they kind of drop you and then want to circle back. That maybe wouldn't feel as great, but like yeah, if it's just we all have moments, we're all human, so certainly like if it happens once or twice maybe, or and when I'm saying like happens once or twice, I mean like they are like not thinking of you, you don't hear from them, you don't see them, their interests have changed, and then they just kind of pop back up. Maybe that's once or twice. That's like especially as you're growing up, getting older. But if it's like a habitual thing, and especially as we move deeper into our 30s, then I'm like, that might just be your inclination, and that's okay. But I'm probably gonna invest my time
Right.
accordingly, right? Like not gonna be angry or anything, but I'm gonna keep that same energy.
Right. Okay, I have another one.
Tell me.
You only see each other once or twice a year. Red flag or green flag?
I think it's a green flag if you can maintain a friendship despite like not being in close proximity. I think that's. I mean, so many of my friendships have been like are and have become long distance. I think or been experienced some sort of long distanceness. Like, yeah, I'm giving it a green flag.
I agree. Green flag. Green flag. And I do think it is something that happens as you get older and you move away from, you know, people you used to go to school with or live around. Like, you know, you might only see them once or twice a year.
For sure.
And
Like a whole host of things could come up. That said, I do think we should see each other more. And my favorite years
I
are the
agree.
years where we see each other more than like twice. I feel like
Yes.
we're on target for that this year.
We definitely are because
And I
we
really
had
love that.
January and then we'll have September.
At least,
And
maybe.
At least.
Potentially another one in the fall.
Oh, cute.
Maybe like maybe summer too. But
Yeah.
Texas is hot. I don't know if I can fade it.
Summer's scary here. You're not going to like it.
We'll see.
You're not gonna
Although
like
somebody at my job like turned down an Austin trip, and I was like, okay, if they asked, I wouldn't say no, even if it was August.
Oh my God. It's rough out here.
It is. It's a time. I mean,
It's a time.
extreme weather. We just both really, well, probably even more. Let me use an I statement. I just have such a small weather window, when I'm actually happy and acceptable, that I own that it's me. Like the weather malcontent is mine, right? Because if it's too cold, if it's too hot, if it's too anything, I'm not pleased. I'm not satisfied. But anyways, I digress. Do you have any other friendship flags?
I have one.
Okay.
One more.
I have one too, but we can save it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Mine is they stress you out.
Oh, that's a red flag. That's a red flag, right? Like, I mean, there might
Okay.
be moments,
Yeah.
caveats, but overall, I don't think friends or people in your circle should like genuinely be causing you distress or turmoil.
Okay, I agree. I agree that if it is someone who is causing you sustained, toxic, continuous stress. Okay, but hypothetically, what if this person, upon you entering into their apartment, tells you to take a shot and that stresses you out? That, I think, is perhaps exposure therapy to help you.
That is a different kind of stress, perhaps. Like we have to define stressor, and, we have to think about where that might be coming from. Like, is it a response to a learned behavior?
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it a revenge plot?
Maybe.
Spanning decades.
Maybe. In which case, I think, it's okay. It's fine. It's maybe a little bit fine. Similar to if you come out to a bachelorette party, flight gets a little delayed, you land, you're catching up with everyone, you say hello, you've barely been in the room 2 minutes, and someone's like, hey, so really glad you're here. Also, everybody has to take a shot when they enter. And you haven't done that yet. And you're like, I didn't know. Can I sit down? Can I have a cup of water? And they're like, actually, no. Here you
Wow.
go. I don't know anybody who would do that.
That's crazy.
I know one person who would do that. They're also on this call. They are not me. They are not me. Okay, Karen, go ahead.
Stress.
It feels like a misuse of the term. What if your friend participates in myth making with your partner?
Okay. Listen. It's like, each of you has like pieces of a puzzle.
Okay.
And then when you get together, you're like, oh wow, she does that to you too? And I think that is important information to have. Green flag. Green flag.
Okay, since we're throwing out hypothetical scenarios that I think can add like important clarity, caveats. So let's say it's the first time they're speaking to each other and they both tell a bona fide lie. Like, oh my gosh, she made me take a Hennessy shot too. And you're sitting there like, what just happened? I've been so excited for these two to meet each other. And 3 minutes in, they're lying on my good name. Defamation of character.
It's not.
False events. Alternative facts. Is that a red or a green flag?
Okay, well, someone on this call always had Hennessy in their pantry, and I am not. And it was never full.
But never empty, just about the same. It's magic. No, I'm kidding. I think that's a green flag, honestly.
Green flag.
Even though it's a little stressor, it's really awesome when like the people in your life that you love and care about get along and like are invested in getting along with each other and getting to know each other. Even if it's at maybe your own expense or the expense of the truth.
Oh God, not the truth thrown in there. You stress me out. Green
So
flag.
That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Okay.
Speaking of red flags, I was to tell you this story about why Eric got mad at me this week. I think,
What did you do?
Okay, so, I'm like very into self-improvement. Okay.
The journey, ever evolving.
The journey, like, and, I'm always looking for ways to like make myself a little better. And I was on my phone a lot last week. I found that I was doing a lot of scrolling, which is why you got all of those hilarious videos from me.
Very good.
Very good, but, maybe not so great for my mental health. And, I was like, I'm really going to try this week not to be on my phone so much. I'm going to try this hack that I saw. So apparently phones like release like chemicals in your brain, like with the kind of light that they produce, like messes with the chemicals in your brain, and it makes your brain super addicted to like these extremely like vibrant colors, right? Especially if you're like doing a lot of scrolling,
Right.
which I was. And so what the hack was, what you have to do is put your phone in grayscale. Okay, and apparently that makes your phone not as appealing of an object, right? Because it's not in color.
Yeah, I need to try that.
Yeah, it's a setting you can do on iPhone. So I put my phone in grayscale, and it actually has had the effect where I am on my phone less. I'm on my phone way less, because if you've ever looked at Instagram in black and white,
Not doing it.
it's not doing it.
Annacrizelda with another pro tip. If you need a phone break, you need some device time, put it in grayscale.
Okay. And like, I was also doing a lot of like window shopping, right? I'm just like on the sites adding things to the cart.
Never ending carts. Running up the tab.
The tab, okay? Do you know how easy it is to have $1,000 in your cart at Nordstrom?
So easy.
5 minutes. I can do it. It's wild, okay? Have you ever tried to shop at Nordstrom in black and white? You can't see the colors.
No.
So you can't shop either, okay? And so I'm on my phone less. I've been like reading more, and it's been really nice. And so at night, usually in bed, I like the rest of the population. I'm like watching YouTube videos at night. But if you've ever tried to watch YouTube in grayscale, it's not doing it. It's not. And so I started doing this thing where I make Eric show me his phone and we watch YouTube together in color. And he is so mad at me. He's like, I don't want to watch this with you. Like, put your phone back in color and watch your own YouTube. And I'm like, no, babe. Like, this is like bonding time.
A little bit.
And then he gets mad because I have like all these comments about what he's watching. I'm like, I don't want to watch that. And then he's like, okay, so like don't watch. I'm like, okay, so put your phone down. We can engage in the art of conversation. And he's like, leave me alone. I want to sleep. And the other day, so he's already mad at me because I like am constantly watching his phone.
Can I just say, whenever I take a social media hiatus, like I know it's addictive because I'll be like, hey, Aiden, can you look up this account on Instagram? And he's like, why don't you just re-download it on your phone? I'm like, no, I can't. Just let me see it really quick. Just let me check one thing. And he's like, so this defeats the purpose. Anyways,
it doesn't. It doesn't count if it's someone else's phone.
Exactly. Just need a little hit.
We were in the car yesterday. We were going to dinner, and I'm like, my phone's in grayscale. And so I'm like not looking at it in the car. And I'm like, Eric, the colors in nature are so vibrant and beautiful. And he's like, if you don't put your phone back in color, I'm going to kill you.
That's very sweet though. Like that's a really great noticing to be able to like come back into the natural world and appreciate it more because you're not being like inundated with virtual colors.
Yeah.
Eric, don't be mad about that.
Don't be mad, Eric. Don't be mad. He's so mad at me. So I just wanted to tell you that. Yeah, I probably will be putting it back in color because it is driving me a little crazy.
Well, you had a little break. It sounds like it served its purpose. Helped you pull back a little bit, interrupt. That's a good thing. Did you do anything else to Eric this week?
Yes. I did.
Yes, I did. It's a little while. But honest, self-aware, I guess.
I did, but we'll save that for another episode because maybe
Eric,
that'll be
okay.
our recurring segment. Is reasons why Eric got mad at me this week.
No, justice for Eric.
I mean, I just think the colors in nature are so beautiful.
They are. Really, like it's, a daily privilege to be able to see such beauty, It's a wonderful thing. I love that noticing. I really, really do.
Thank you.
Can I say one little beef that's not a real beef that I have with Eric?
Yes.
And I think it leads us into our next thing, that he chose Duke to win the men's NCAA tournament. Ugh. Never Duke. Why Duke? Ugh. Ugh. Eric makes like very good choices, and that was not one of them.
Listen, okay, me making my bracket was such a disaster. Okay, it made me realize I have this perception of myself that I am someone who has so much grit and resilience. And guess what? I tried to log in to make my bracket. I tried to do it the day you sent it, weeks ago. And I couldn't do it. And I said, well, I guess I'm not making a bracket.
Not a quitter.
And I quit so fast.
Why is it very stressful? Like it's something that's like it's low stakes personally. Like we're not putting any money on it, right? It's just bragging rights. And yet, like again, I'm someone that's watched for years. There's no way to pick a perfect bracket. Like something is gonna be wrong. I'm sure people have like AI, whatever. That's not my experience. That's not how I'm going into it. And yet, every time I'm like, nah, I gotta get this right. Let me think about this choice. And I end up choosing sometimes very arbitrarily. Like, well, I like that color more. I like that mascot more.
That was me choosing the women's bracket after Eric logged me in.
Shout out to Eric.
Shout out to Eric. And yeah, a lot. So I knew I wanted SC to win all of it.
South Carolina SC or
South
California?
Carolina. South Carolina.
Shout out to Donnie Dawn.
Yeah, shout out to her. Incredible. And but every pick before that, random. Just vibes. So
Just vibes.
just vibes.
I love that. That's so good. My mom is not in the men's pool this year. She was like came in first last year. She didn't get it in time, and she was so upset. She was like, "How am I going to defend my title?" But also, I was like, this is probably where I get some of that like competitive energy from. So you picked South Carolina to win the women's. I did as well. Who were you going to pick to win the men's?
I don't know.
I'm going to tell myself it wasn't Duke. That's the takeaway.
Who did you
never
pick?
Duke. On the men's side, I picked Houston.
Okay.
One of my defaults, if I can't, like, don't have a sense of the game or a strong, like, rationale, I just choose a team with more. That's like feels the most black to me. Whether that's like the most black players or like the most cultural blackness represented. So I went with Houston. It was like it came down to like Houston, Florida. I understand Duke is a contender, even if I don't like that. And Houston feels the most black to me, so that's
I
who
love
went
that.
with. Rooting for everybody black all the time. But yeah, that'll be fun. So first time picking out a bracket this week in sports. Definitely NCAA tournament is up there. Anna was stressed out. Is that fair to say?
Yes. Stress.
Have you like stepped away from the stress now? Are you able to just enjoy the games? Or are you like monitoring them like, okay, how's my bracket doing?
I'm definitely not monitoring them. I would say I'm just happy to be here. I'm just happy to watch the basketball and enjoy the games.
That's a really healthy way. I'm trying to do that this year. Just like my bracket is what it is and like not think about it as I just watch the games. Like it's cool. Did you know that women, the NCAA women couldn't use March Madness branding till 2022?
That's so messed up.
Isn't that wild?
That's
like
wild.
This is the first year that they're going to be earning money for tournament participation. But I'm like, every time I think about it, even being there as it was happening, I'm just like, women deserve better. Mm-hmm. Let us not forget.
Let us not forget. Speaking of women,
go ahead.
Did you see? I know you saw because we were texting the Unrivaled playoffs.
What? Okay. I don't even know what episode it was where we were talking about like the lunar owls feeling like they had the clear pathway, runway, like in all other conversations were kind of just like, ha ha. Jokes, no way the lunar owls aren't going to win the whole thing because they've been that dominant. And then, insert.
The vinyl.
Right. Like, get out of here.
Yeah.
Okay. De'Erica Hamby making that last shot, I would have been crying, like eyes closed, living on a prayer, throwing the ball up, if I got to throw the ball up, right? To just Because I think the play was broken, and so she was like, "All right, I'm calling my own number." Things
Right.
I never would have done. Would have like somebody else take it. Ryan Howard, where are you?
Oh my God.
Like,
It's so crazy too because they said that the Vinyl are age wise like the youngest team in the league. And so for them to come out and beat the Lunar Owls was incredible to watch.
it was a lot
It
of fun. It was stressful too, and I was like, "Why am I stressed? I don't have any stakes in this game. I've just been enjoying this season, and here I am, like heart racing. I just can't imagine being an
Right.
athlete in that situation, and like
Oh
just
my
being able to take a
God.
few deep breaths and stay calm."
The
I would have been like, "Coach, I
calm.
need a timeout. I got to go to the
Oh my God.
bathroom. Like,
I would run away. It's not
gone.
happening.
Cut the lights, pull the
Gone.
fire alarm, get me
You'd be
out of
like
here."
Mr. Milchick in Severance. It's
Exactly.
out.
It's crazy.
Oh my God. When they pan to Ryan Howard's face and she's just calm, I'm like, it could never be me. Never.
Simply couldn't. Love
Simply
that for
could
her,
not.
but I can't relate. So amazing. They're just incredible athletes, incredible professionals. Like,
Incredible. And then the Rose winning the whole thing.
come back. I
Incredible.
definitely thought they were out. I mean, I know they had a lot of injuries, but I did not view them as a serious contender at like multiple points in this unrivaled
Right.
season.
Yeah.
I think among. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to also agree that they've had a ton of injuries. I mean, to have both Angel Reese and Kalia Copper injured for the last few games is wild. Chelsea Gray doing
What else?
everything. Yeah.
Right. What else is there to say except Chelsea Gray, period? And obviously, there's a little bit of tension. By a little, I mean a lot between Unrivaled and the W. But watching Chelsea Gray's end of season performance, I was like, oh, she's putting the W on notice too. Like, she's back. She's healthy. She's in like basketball shape. The Aces are about to come back with a vengeance. And
Oh my God.
shout out to the rest of the league. Like, it's going to be a fun summer. It's going to be a fun summer.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I remember, like, maybe a few weeks ago, someone posted on Instagram that, like, someone from the Rose, they posted that ESPN had, like, a prediction for, like, what the standings would be at the end of Unrivaled, and the Rose they had last.
Right.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I love that. I love when players and teams get to come back and just like talk that talk and be like, y'all have to own it. I love receipts. Like I love that energy. So
So good.
that was also a good like note to go out on with all of them just being like, now what? Like
Now what?
and like sports can't really have cliffhangers, but I do think it set up a great next season, like for Unrivaled. Like, hey, whatever happens in the regular season is the regular season. Like short single elimination tournaments, anything can happen.
Do you think they'll increase or they'll do away with the single elimination, or you think they'll keep it for the playoffs?
I'm wondering if they'll. I mean, it feels like the single elimination is like a big part of the brand, right? In terms of even just the regular season, like a faster game. But I wonder if they'll have like go to 2 out of 3 or something for
Right.
the championship at least.
Right. Yeah.
Even if they like shorten the games, right? Like maybe it's only 2 quarters or like I don't know. Somehow they shorten it if they want to play them in the same night,
Right.
like they did with the one-on-one tournament, which could be interesting.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
it feels like they're going to consider that at least. I don't know
Yeah.
that they'll change it, but I have to imagine they're at least discussing it.
Right. Yeah, we'll definitely see.
Yeah, it'll be like I think they've done a great job setting up a good second season, especially with like the incoming college players and how they'll adapt to the game like that. They've got me. I'm tuned in. I'm bought in. I'm
Yeah.
excited for it to come back for sure.
We need to go down to Miami and watch it at the stadium.
Definitely want to do that. I'm looking forward. Like that's on the list for sure next year. Next. I just have to say back to Danya Dawn. Plies being a women's basketball fan, the rapper Plies, and a South Carolina fan. That is awesome. Did I send you the like chain that he gifted her?
Yes. Oh
Okay.
my God.
Incredible.
Wild.
One of my favorite things of the week, like, is Plies sending that chain. We have to link a picture of it. It's so good.
It's so good. It's
Love shiny things, but that's a great gift. That's a
Yeah.
great fan gift.
yeah. Somebody in the comments said that they left a space for this year's.
I saw that. Yeah. Whenever the next one comes, they definitely have it in there, and that's a super duper flex. Also, in the world of South Carolina, it might get old as all NCAA commercials do, but they have like a Mr. Me Too or Mr. I Can Do That commercial. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it.
Where it's like all these like things that like kind of men say about women's basketball and South Carolina's team in particular. Maybe we can like post the link to that, but
Yeah.
it's very, very funny, but it's so perfect. Like it's like the men like, oh, I can do that. I can play better than them. Like nobody's afraid of them, right? Like just all of the things that not great men say about to like kind of degrade women's basketball and women's basketball players. And I was just like, bravo, well done. Well done, Under Armour. Well done, South Carolina.
I love
Very
that.
good. Very good. Sports are fun. March Madness is upon us. Let us know who you're picking, and unless it's Duke, make a better choice.
Ball is life.
No, let us know who you're going for, who you're picking. If there's a game that you're watching or that like you loved, come talk to us about it.
Leave us a comment. Let us know.
Like and subscribe. That's fun. Anything else on your mind today, Annacrizelda?
Just that we've done our 5th episode.
Yay! Clap, 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 clap.
Yay.
Clap, clap. It's
Wow.
very exciting. Thank you all for
Time
listening
flies.
and tuning in. It does. It's a lot of fun. Good for us.
Good for us.
Keep making myths. You're doing a great job.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. Jokey jokes. Jokes. All green flags.
All green flags. Well, guys, if you liked this week's episode, share it with your long distance bestie. But until next time, I don't know what I was going to say after that.
It's all good.
Oh, that's good. Be good, be well.
Be good. Be well.
I'm going to cut that out, or I'll leave it.
That's fine. Save it for the like blooper reel.